Josh Harvey of Fox Sports Next and Big Red Report, here with Tom Beaver, publisher of GoBlueWolverine.com and magazine. We're going to preview the Nebraska-Michigan game this Saturday at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Tom, first I got to just ask you, does it really get any better than this? You got two of the most storied football programs in the country all time, over 1,700 wins, 16 national championships between the two of them. A primetime game, does it really get better than this?
No, and particularly for Michigan, this Nebraska is probably the second best offense or the second really good offense that Michigan will have faced this year. So Michigan's had a good year on defense, and Nebraska's going to be a tremendous challenge. I don't think Michigan fans are optimistic going into the game that this is even going to be a Michigan win. So we all see it as a huge challenge for this Michigan team.
Brady Hoke hasn't even been there 2 seasons yet. He's 16-4 during his time in Ann Arbor, 9-2 in the Big Ten, and this is a guy really not coaching with his own recruits yet. Have you been surprised somewhat with his success, with Rich Rod's players?
Well, what he did was bring in Greg Madison, who was the defensive coordinator of the Ravens and had been defensive coordinator of Michigan and then Notre Dame and then Florida, a guy who's considered one of the best coordinators in the country, I believe. So the Michigan defense is what's really turned around quickly. And I guess as recruiting guys, we knew Michigan had talent on defense with Rich Rod, and they just weren't getting properly coached. All the emphasis was on offense, at least for the time being. And, that's not what Michigan fans are used to. That's not what the Michigan program is used to. So Madison has gone in there and really coached up the defense. And, consequently, Michigan, if anything, isn't as good on offense as maybe Michigan fans would expect with Denard Robinson at quarterback. But the defense has really been stout, and that's what's carried them. And Nebraska will be the big challenge.
You mentioned that defense. They've only allowed 13 points or less in the last 5 contests. I guess you mentioned that you knew that there was good players on that side of the football, but was this something that you expected? Did you feel like the defense had a chance to be this special, or did you feel like they would just be improved from last year?
Well, last year the defense played better and better as the season went on, and by the end of the year, that's really what was carrying them. And Michigan won the Sugar Bowl because of their defense. So that's what Michigan fans expected. They expected the defense to be good, but Michigan fans always expect the Michigan defense to be good. So they're playing like we all expect. And in the Michigan tradition, the defense is as exciting and more exciting than the offense for Michigan fans traditionally. So it's the defense that Michigan fans expect to see playing well out there. And they just are. They're playing like they say they're playing like a Michigan defense. That's how they talk about it. And the defense has really carried the team this year. It certainly carried them last week against Michigan State when Michigan offense only got 4 field goals, and that was enough to win the game.
Nebraska has struggled with dual-threat quarterbacks the past couple of seasons. Denard Robinson is a guy they struggled with last year in Ann Arbor. This year, Robinson, only 9 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, a completion rate of just 53.5%. While his running game seems to have improved with the yards per carry, what is it that he has struggled with this season? And maybe what are some of the things that limit him in this Brady Hoke offense compared to when he was having his most success in Rich Rod's?
Well, that's a good question. Michigan fans, I think, are asking themselves the same question, and there's a lot of opinions and some head scratching. But when Denard can run the ball this year, that's when he's effective. But when he's got to throw it, then he's not been as effective. And in Michigan's 2 losses, Alabama and Notre Dame, the Michigan strategy was to throw the ball up early and to try to strike deep early. And Denard just did not show the ability to do that. So the last couple weeks, Michigan has been throwing the ball less, running it more, and running Denard more. And he's been staying healthy this year. So, that's what I expect to see on Saturday, too. Michigan running the ball and Denard Robinson running the ball. And, like you say, Michigan had success with Denard running it last year. So we're all hoping that that we see more of that. The Michigan receiver core isn't that strong this year. It's not one of the stronger units on the team anyway. You've got Devin Gardner trying to play wide receiver for Michigan this year, and he's a very talented kid, but he got his shoulder banged up in the Notre Dame game, which has held him back. So, there was a great catch he could have made for a touchdown last week, and he didn't really have the shoulder strength to go up and bring the ball down. So, the wide receiver core is just a little depleted for Michigan, and that's part of the reason they're having to run the ball more.
Fitz-Toussaint is a guy who really started off the year a little rough, but is starting to seem to come into his own, according to Coach Hoke. He hurt the Huskers last year in Ann Arbor. What do you expect from him on Saturday?
Well, he's not really. I think Coach Hoke is trying to get his confidence up. I think that's why he's making statements like he has, because really Toussaint has not had a great year for Michigan, and if he has a great game this Saturday, it'll be the first great one this year. If he runs for over 100 yards this year, this Saturday, it'll be the first time this year. So he has not had the season he had last year. He started out with a suspension in the first game. He had a DUI, and then he got a suspension in the first game, and I think that's just hurt him psychologically, and he's still struggling to get it back, I think, between the ears, to really have the focus that you need to have to be a great running back. He dances around too much, which had been his bugaboo early in his career, and he's still going east and west a little too much. So I don't know. If I'm not expecting to see Fitzgerald-Toussaint hurt you guys like he did last year, and if he does, that will be great news for Michigan fans.
Tom, before we let you go, I want to hear your prediction for this Saturday.
Oh, well, I think it'll be close, and I don't think you're going to see a game like last week where neither team got to 20. I think both teams will be in the mid-20s, and I think it'll be a fourth quarter game, and whoever makes the big play at the end will win. And I'm not going to predict the winner. I just think it'll be close, and there'll be some points put up in this game by both teams. That's my prediction.
That's Tom Beaver, publisher of GoBlueWolverine.com and magazine. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.